Definitely not.
Oh, you know, the other day I was at a store and someone had a ringtone that went like this. It went, "Uh-oh." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I hadn't heard that
Is it
in
ICQ?
years."
Yeah.
Yes. He knew exactly what I was doing. I'm like, "Uh-oh. Uh-oh."
Yeah. Oh, that takes me back to the first year I lived in San Francisco. I would sit on ICQ and talk to people
Oh
because I had
man,
nothing
I'm
else to
trying
Oh
do.
to remember
God,
my ICQ
ICQ.
number.
I don't remember my number anymore. Had a 1 and a 9 in it.
I think mine started with 88. I know I have it down somewhere.
Yeah, I have it somewhere. In fact, it's still installed on that
ICQ.
computer over there. If it booted. Last time I turned it on, it booted, but that's been a while. So that one also got a little water in it. I think it just got in the bottom of the case though, so it probably is okay. I haven't tried turning all that stuff on though. Too much to
Yeah.
do. Too
Yes, be
busy.
careful. Yes.
Oh, Lamar dropped out.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
No.
Uh-oh.
I guess Sleep Train was a
Oh,
better.
no, there he is.
Oh wait, we have his face
Yeah, no, he's joining again.
from the moon.
Every time Lamar logs on, you should play his theme song.
Oh, I used to do that. I think it got old.
Oh,
I
the
tried-
Sleep Train.
Yeah,
Lamar
not the sleep
Wilson.
train.
That'd be funny if you just did that. His theme song, Sleep Train.
Man, we had a
Take
good
you to-
half hour of decent connection with Lamar, and then right before.
Don't you
the show-
understand? You basically tempted the fates,
Oh,
Tom.
I know.
Your
I
breathless
know.
arrogance.
He still has
There.
2 minutes.
There we
he
go.
goes. There we go.
Now
Wait,
he's
wait,
back.
wait. I was always here. Wait,
What do you mean?
my child, I have always been here with you.
When there was one set of footprints, it was Lamar carrying me.
You're a strong dude, man.
He is, yeah. And I appreciated that.
You got Tom and Roger and me on your shoulders tearing down.
Absolutely. I have never left you from the beginning.
Plus, it's hard to walk in sand. You know.
I feel like I should have a special on CNN now that talks just about me.
Yeah.
I know the theme song.
Do you get the reference? Okay, I don't know if you do.
Lamar Wilson.
Was it an OJ thing?
No, the Jesus special. That's what I
Oh
was,
no, I didn't know about that one.
Yeah, they have this weekly thing where I guess it's a series where they have actors and it's about the life of
On
Jesus.
CNN?
Yeah, they do documentaries now. Yeah,
But with actors.
that's what I'm thinking because it's a continual weekly thing.
They
So-
don't have
That's
actual
weird.
they don't have recovered footage.
Like a documentary. Yeah, but they're mixing it with other
Yeah,
current
okay.
events. So like
Got it,
Vladimir
got it.
Putin is playing Jesus.
Got it.
Uh,
Yeah, they recovered the VHS. from
yeah,
back
the
there,
Dead
yeah.
Sea tapes.
That would be Anderson Cooper. Would be yeah.
Oh my god.
All right. Well, let's tempt fate. Do the show. What do you think?
Yeah, let's see what happens
All
here.
All right.
All right, I'm going. Hiding.
Go. Here
Let's
we
hope for the
go.
best, guys.
Ho ho ho, green giant.
The Daily Tech News Show is brought to you by its global listener base, not outside organizations. To find out how you can contribute, go to dailytechnewsshow.com/support.
This is the Daily Tech News for Friday, the 7th of April, 2017. I'm Tom Merritt. Lamar Wilson alongside with us today. Lamar is fighting, persevering through internet troubles. Lamar,
Yes.
thank you for your dedication today.
Thank you. And if I go out, just know in my heart, I'm with you.
He has been outside applauding the technicians who are fixing his internet
Literally,
connection.
the trucks are out there and they're fixing. They're like, we're almost done.
You're
So,
out there with pom poms cheering him on. It was great.
I threw drinks at them. You know, it was glass bottles, so that probably wasn't a good idea. But
The chance that you had, like, here
Yeah.
we go, technicians, here we go. That was great.
yeah, exactly.
That was fantastic. Well, also joining us, Len Peralta is back on this Friday to illustrate the show. How's it going, Len?
It's going well. It's a beautiful, cold, snowy day in Cleveland, Ohio, for April. But I'm keeping it warm here by doing some warm drawing.
Hey, Lynn, look, just so you know,
Oh,
this has been on my phone forever.
The Zelda
Nice.
print. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told you, I love your work, man.
Thank you so much. Yeah,
stuff.
you can download those digital things at the end of the show. But
Yeah.
I gotta get to drawing. So let's get to some news.
Take a look at lensperaltastore.com and let's start with a few tech things you should know. Paul Thurrott posted on Twitter, the Surface Pro 5 will not change the Surface Connect power connector. I want a USB-C connector. I guess they'll have a USB-C port. He says, I was just told Kaby Lake, nothing dramatic. So if you're looking for a new Surface Pro tablet, those are some things you might be interested to know.
All right.
Walt Mossberg announced he will retire this June, 47 years after beginning his career as a national journalist with the Wall Street Journal. He didn't always cover tech. He covered the Pentagon. He covered world events, all kinds of things. The list goes on and on. He did start writing his tech column in 1991. That has run continuously. It's changed venue over the years. It's been in places like the Wall Street Journal and Recode and The Verge. But he's going to hang up his pen. I don't know if he still writes with a pen,
Right.
but this June. So, applause to Walt Mossberg on a fantastic career.
I wish I know more about him. He's one of those that I don't really, I dived into the Wall Street Journal much, so it's just one of those I've skipped over. But I always hear his name. He's definitely well known and well respected.
Talk about an influencer, right? Somebody who definitely does. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security has withdrawn its request for information that could help identify the person behind Twitter account alt_USCIS, and therefore Twitter has subsequently withdrawn its lawsuit against the U.S. Department of Homeland Security and Customs, resisting that request. Doesn't mean they won't come back and request it in a different way, but this apparently is not worth pursuing.
Yep, good things.
Now, here's some more top stories. Google has started presenting extra information, like whether a topic is true, false, or undetermined, when it's displaying search results from fact-checking sites like PolitiFact and Snopes. So it's not changing the search ranking, Lamar. The results will still show up wherever a Snopes or a PolitiFact result would show up, but it will now say, this story determined to be false, this story determined to be true.
I think that's a good start, but that has to be an overwhelming amount of human. Human has to do that, right?
Well, a human does it on the Snopes and PolitiFact site, and I guess what Google is doing is figured out, like it does with a lot of research results, how to grab. We can always see when they say true on their story, so we can surface that in the search results.
Okay, I was gonna say if there's someone at Google doing that, my God, just the amount of pages would be astronomical.
Yeah, it's just another way to make it more scannable when you're searching on something where you're like, is Soylent Green made of people? I need to find out.
Yes, it is.
By the way, I think that might fulfill my my prediction from the end of last year, right, Tom?
Oh, about what? I don't remember. I remember your prediction being about Google and fact checking, but
yeah, it was there was going to be some sort of third party thing, and I didn't really say what it was, but it was displaying information, kind of like what this story is talking about.
It's close. We'll have to wait till the end of the year.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Because I bet Google does some more things by the end of the year. Waymo, which if you don't follow this stuff, you may not realize is the company that Alphabet created out of Google's autonomous car project. So this was the Google self-driving car became Waymo. Waymo is suing Uber. They are saying former Google employee Anthony Lewandowski took autonomous car tech from Google to a company he founded called Otto, which Uber acquired. So the court case has been going on. Friday, Uber told the court its tech is not the same as Waymo's. Uber uses a 4-lens LiDAR design with 2 optical cavities. Waymo only has 1 lens in its LiDAR design with 1 optical cavity. Uber claims it also has not seen the 14,000 files that Waymo claims Lewandowski took as a Google employee. They say they didn't show up here. Waymo is seeking an injunction to stop Uber from using any tech built on Waymo's proprietary technology. And the judge, Judge Alsup, has said, just saying you don't have the files isn't going to be good enough, especially because, this goes back to an earlier episode, if you remember, Lewandowski pleaded the 5th. So if Lewandowski was the only one to have the 14,000 files, of course Uber would say we don't see them because those files are now protected by the 5th Amendment. So that one alone doesn't defend them. But Lamar, it does sound like if they could make a compelling case that their design isn't the same one that Waymo says got stolen, they might be able to get it past this.
Yeah, I think so. But at the same time, the odds here, if you're just using basic reasoning, this guy coming from from the department, and all of a sudden makes his own company. So I guess my question in my head is, why didn't Google make a longer non-compete clause? If they in the contract, if they made it 6 months.
They did. Yeah, that's why there's a lawsuit.
Okay. Oh, okay. Because I'm like, he shouldn't have been able to make his own company.
No, exactly. He shouldn't have been able to take any of the technology. He can make the company and start using his own, what was in the contents of his brain.
Right.
Oh, but I see what you're saying. Like a non-compete, like you shouldn't be allowed to start a competing company.
Absolutely.
Not just non-disclosure.
No, not stealing stuff. But
I misunderstood what you were saying. No, that's an interesting take. I mean, that's been one of the perks of working at Google, is that if you're smart with something, as long as you don't take Google proprietary information, you can then go parlay that, sell your Google stock, and start your own company. And
so they encourage that.
They sort of do. It's been a way that they have attracted talent, is to say, hey, if you come work for us, we're not going to lock you down. You're going to be able to go off and start your own thing. Now, they also don't like it if someone actually takes 14,000 files.
Well, yeah,
and
that's
the company.
Yeah, that's theft. Yeah, that's a little different.
One problem with machine learning that you may have heard discussed is that you either have to share your personal data with a cloud service. That's the way Google does it right now, which is like, hey, turn that Google Assistant on and have it monitor everything you do, and we promise we won't tell anyone, but it'll help. It will help. It's uncontroversial that it will help machine learning get better. Or your AI just won't learn as fast because it will only be able to learn from you. If you don't share it, then it's only learning based on your behavior, so it doesn't learn as fast. Well, Google has a new thing they're testing out in the Gboard keyboard app for Android called Federated Learning. That's where the machine learning model is downloaded locally. So they actually have a version of TensorFlow running on your device, on your tablet or your phone. Okay. And that learns from your data, summarizes local changes that it's made as a small update, and then that update is uploaded to the cloud and averaged with other updates. So it's not 100% private, but it's not sending every little thing you do to Google.
So it seemed like this is because when I read this, I didn't understand this. I'm glad you explained it. It's a way to filter.
Yeah.
So some of that data. Okay.
That allows the shared backend model to improve and then be updated on your local device without the specific user data having to be shared.
Okay.
So
I'm okay with that.
It's a little better.
Yeah.
I mean, you could still argue like, well, but that I guess that the small update summary could be mined for your data, but it's not. It's definitely a better thing than like Lamar went to these GPS coordinates and emailed these people and said these things in a text message, right?
Right. I mean, I regularly send out about my friends that I snoop on, but yeah, you shouldn't do that. That's bad.
Now, Google says this allows for smarter models, lower latency, less power consumption, all while ensuring privacy, because it doesn't have to. The other benefit is it doesn't have to go to the cloud to communicate all the time. It can communicate with the local version of the machine learning model most of the time, and it's a different approach than what Apple does. If you remember, Apple talked about how with Siri, it's doing differential privacy. That's where it searches customer data for trends, but leaves the data on your device. It doesn't identify individuals.
Okay. You just have to trust that they are doing that.
Yeah. Well, that's true of all of this stuff. But this is an interesting advance because it's a way to get the benefits of that centralized model while providing a little more privacy, which is good. Everybody wants that.
Yeah, I like that.
A court in Italy ruled Uber was engaged in unfair competition with taxis. The taxi services had brought the lawsuit. And the court says Uber may not use its Black, Lux, SUV, X, XL, Select, or Van phone applications in the country, nor may it advertise its services. Of course, Uber intends to appeal this, but they haven't banned Uber. They just said you can't use any of your apps and you can't tell anyone that you're operating a service.
Yeah, I was
but
like,
if they can find you somehow, go for it.
Yeah, I was like, what other service do they have besides these?
I mean, I don't know. You could call them on the phone. Hey, send me a rider.
That's funny. Just on a side note, I didn't realize the extent of Uber. I have a friend that's in Japan right now, and he told me, "Yeah, I took an Uber here. I used the same app and everything." And he
so because when last time I was in Japan, Uber wasn't operating there. That's great.
Yeah, he's in Tokyo, and I was just like, it just blew my mind that this company is advancing so fast. And,
they're all over the place, and there's Grab Taxi and Lyft and Ola and all kinds of versions of this in various places as well. So. Finally, U.S. FCC Chairman Ajit Pai has briefed telecom trade groups about plans to alter the open internet guidelines. Pai's approach would have ISPs voluntarily pledge to follow net neutrality principles, which would have to be defined, I would assume. And then the Federal Trade Commission would punish violators of the pledges for unfair practices. It'd be like an unfair trade practices thing. Like, you can't violate these net neutrality principles or the FTC will crack down on you. That's been one of Ajit Pai's modes here, is we want to move a lot of our regulation back to the FTC. We think that's where it properly belongs.
Okay.
The FTC cannot govern Title II common carriers, though, and that's what the ISPs are currently classified as. So the FCC would have to reclassify telecoms again as not common carriers, which in my opinion they probably are, but they'd have to say, okay, well, we're not going to call you common carriers so that the FTC can regulate you. Wall Street Journal says Pai might begin the process in either the May or June FCC meetings.
So the key here I'm saying is that they have to voluntarily pledge, and then once they voluntarily pledge, they can get punished. So why would they voluntarily pledge?
It is pretty mushy, right? It leaves a lot of loopholes, because if I understand it right, they can voluntarily say, we're going to follow these guidelines because the FTC would say, we're not making these the law, but we think that these are fair practices. And the FTC actually does this a lot. They're like, we think that this is generally how a company should behave. We're not going to crack down on you unless we see actual consumer harm. But if you follow these guidelines, you probably won't get in trouble, right? And so it's a little bit different than Congress passing a law. It's a regulatory agency just saying, like, here's your guidelines. Here's how you probably won't run into the problem of being accused of an unfair practice, right? And so advertising guidelines are the same way. There aren't actually laws. There are some laws, but there aren't a lot of things we think of as laws as far as false advertising aren't laws. They're guidelines that the FTC says in order to say, if you follow these guidelines, we won't come after you for false advertising.
Okay, so you can't get sued if you
follow. But it's kind of one of those we know it when we see it situation. So the guidelines kind of help say this is how we see it.
Okay. So will these companies be pressured to volunteering?
I mean, there's a lot of questions, right? Like, it's a voluntary guideline. That's fine. False advertising, a lot of things are voluntary guidelines. The rating system for movies is a voluntary guideline that helps them avoid getting prosecuted for showing things to the wrong kinds of people. The rating system in movies is an even better example. It's not the law, but it's a voluntary guideline. So if net neutrality ends up being a voluntary guideline like that, and the FTC puts some teeth behind it, it could work fine. Okay. But there's a lot of questions about what are those guidelines?
Right.
How much enforcement will there be? And will this change things? One of the things that Ajit Pai and others have said is there are too many questions. There's too many anti-competitive questions with the way the internet guidelines are now. I feel like this raises even more questions and makes more uncertainty.
I would think so. But it's a fascinating start. Yeah. And thanks for educating me about the movie guide. I had no idea about movie guidelines. That was just the law, but it's not.
No, it's a voluntary system. And the same thing for video games, right? Yeah. ESRB. Right. Hey, folks, if you want to get all the tech headlines each day in less than 5 minutes, please subscribe to dailytechheadlines.com. You can listen to that, get all the headlines of the day, and then listen to us to gain a little more conversation, a little more understanding about it. Now, Zach Epstein over at BGR.com has a column out today with a couple of notable assertions in it. One, the Galaxy S8 and the LG G6 make the iPhone 7 feel old-fashioned to Zach, mostly because of bezels. The iPhone littered with bezel, so much bezel. There's virtually no bezel on the Galaxy S8 or even the LG G6. You just did an unboxing on that, Lamar, right?
I did. The bezel is almost non-existent. I was really impressed with it.
Yeah. So it feels like the iPhone is an old-fashioned design. I remember when the iPhone 5 still had that blocky. It was a little longer, but it still felt blocky compared to like the Note and all of that. iPhone 7 kind of feeling that way these days is what Zach is saying. The other thing he notes is that he won't likely switch even though when he holds the Galaxy S8, he feels a sincere envy, he's not going to switch because of software. He says the OS is smooth on iOS, third-party apps are good, he's got this integration across his devices that he finds convenient, updates are fast. Now, I don't want this to devolve into a fan war conversation because all of this could be reversed in the fall. If Apple does all the things the rumors say, they're going to come out with this slick phone and then it may be like, oh, well, now Apple has the modern looking phone. Android users can easily point to their own inherent advantages in the Google ecosystem, Google Assistant integration, customization options, all of that. The point that I thought was interesting about this story is the fact that it is really hard to switch your ecosystem, right? If you're in iOS or Android and you legitimately decide, hey, I think I might want to try the other side of the street, it's not easy.
No, it's not. And I've done it in the earlier days when I didn't have everything mixed together, from Android to iOS and back and forth. But once I made a decision on what my computers were going to be and my tablet, the phone, this is just my view, naturally had to fit into that. And then they came out with things like handoff. Then you have iMessage that is now on the desktop across your devices, and of course that's what they want you to do, right? I mean, they want you to be locked in on it. But I finally increased on her. I think these phones are great, but if I try to throw an Android phone in the mix, it messes up a lot of things in my workflow. Yeah. And I think a lot of people have that same issue. The other issue is that a lot of us have bought a lot of things on the iTunes store, and from apps to movies to things. Sure, should I have done it on Amazon to be neutral? Sure, but a lot of us don't because it's just easier on the phone. So this is a problem that we have as reviewers, or I don't consider myself a reviewer, but just someone who's interested in gadgets. We get it early, or we get it and we want to switch, but it's like, wow, it's going to ruin everything if we do.
Yeah, if like you got an LG G6 to try out. It's like,
absolutely,
you'd love to just live with it, right? But
yeah,
it's difficult. I'm not saying you can't do it, but it's not as easy as like, oh, okay, well, I'll just switch over to this phone and now access all my accounts. I mean, even if can replicate every app across the ecosystem. Let's say you have been a person who's been dedicated to I will only use cross-platform systems. You still have to log into all of those, which is kind of a pain.
Yeah.
And then there's always something. There's always a little thing where you're like, oh, I guess I can't actually do that. Or it's, I don't want to totally switch. I just want to try one out. And Snapchat, oh, I can only be logged into Snapchat on one device at a time, or something. Stuff like that gets in the way, and it makes it hard.
Yeah, I find this. I know this was a discussion about phones, but I really find this more prevalent, in my opinion, even just on computer side, because I have great relationships with Microsoft and Acer. They make great products. Even the Surface Pro, I have access to all of that. But I have Macs not because I am loyal, dedicated to Apple, but because the software is streamlined for me and my workflow would be easier. And it's very hard to get something in there to interrupt it. Now, if I was, because I do video editing and other things, if I used Adobe, then yeah, sure. But but I don't. I use Apple's stuff because it's a lot easier for me. So it's one of those ongoing problems. Like I would love. I mean, one of the things that really, in my opinion, should have happened. Windows, still 90+% of the market. They should have had the handoff thing from the beginning. They should have cross-platform messaging from the beginning. I mean, they had all the tools, and I don't dislike Windows. I just wish they had those tools.
Yeah,
and so you could do that.
You could sort of do it with Hangouts, right? You could use Google Hangouts, but
that's
now Google's changing how it does that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then that's Google's thing. I don't know. I just, for Windows to be so big, I wish they could have easily killed that market
It's always those little things. Like you say, and I think you're right. Most people aren't going to bother to use cross-platform every time. They're going to find themselves like, oh, I bought a bunch of movies in the iTunes store. I guess I can't bring that to an Android phone. Crap, right? That's going to be a problem. But even if you do, even if you're very careful about that, and you say, no, I'm going to make sure I do Disney movies anywhere, and
right.
I'm only going to buy Disney things through iTunes or whatever.
Yeah, or use Amazon. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, or use Amazon or even Google Play, right? Which you can do on iOS.
That's right.
Even if you do that, there's always something. There's always a little thing. And I'm glad you brought up laptops and desktops, because one of the things, and again, it's not that you can't, it's that you have to plan or work to do it. One of the things I have on my OS 10, or I'm sorry, my Mac OS, is a script that was written by a wonderful woman named Dorothy that allows me at one button to have a copy of all my tabs, headline, and links. And it really is useful in preparing the show. Now, I could replicate that on Windows, but I didn't write the script. Dorothy did. She doesn't work in Windows, so I then have to go and find someone who did that. I've looked at extensions. None of them work exactly the same way as the way I needed them to work. And so it's just one of those things.
That one thing.
This doesn't stop me from using my Surface Book Pro and enjoying it, or my Surface Book and enjoying it, but it is the one thing like, oh, right, I don't have a solution for that on this side right now. And it is kind of a pain when you run into those things.
Yeah, and it's just hard for people like us, because you get the the inevitable fans, or you're just a fanboy, you don't want to switch it. It's like, no, it's not as easy as you think. I just can't easily do that without some consequence.
Yeah.
Or that one app, or that one, we do video editing, we do blogging and all kind of things. You just can't flip the switch on it. So well, I don't know what the answer to
within ecosystems, sometimes they'll launch something for mobile but not for desktop, and I won't use it. I'll be like, no, I'm not going to use that Google Calendar option until it's available everywhere my Google Calendar is, because I don't want to start relying on it and then have it not be there.
Right. Yeah. So
well, if you've got thoughts on this, and I'm sure you do, by all means, send them to us. Feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com. Thanks to everybody who participates in our subreddit, helps us pick these stories. Keep them coming, folks. Get in there and vote and submit at dailytechnewsshow.reddit.com. Speaking of emails, we got a few here. Oh. Rusty in chilly and wet DC says, hello, Tom and team DTNS. I have a question from the story about Japan changing their policy on Bitcoin being a currency instead of a commodity. How do vendors protect themselves against the sometimes large fluctuations in Bitcoin value? Someone is going to make and or lose money on the spread between the transacted value of the Bitcoin and the market value, right? That is an excellent question. And part of the answer is that you don't actually have as much fluctuation as you used to. So it may be less of a problem than it used to be. Also, a lot of these systems, and a couple of the ones we talked about yesterday, work by the customer has the Bitcoin, and when they go to pay, the service that the retailer is using immediately translates it into currency. Okay. So the retailer doesn't have to set the price in Bitcoin and deal with any changes. It's the user that has to deal with that. So a lot of it's put out onto the user that way.
Okay, I don't understand Bitcoin, but God, you made that very easy to understand.
Well, really? Thanks, man. Jeff in ridiculously windy Beaverton, Oregon says, hey, Tom and company, regarding the soft launch YouTube TV service and the meh response to yet another streaming TV service. Killer feature to me is that YouTube kind of already solved the streaming and live video problem, so I completely expect the experience to be way better than the offerings from other companies from the get-go. Those other services had issues with stability for a long time after launch, and he's right. Sling TV, PlayStation, DirecTV now, they all did.
Yeah.
And so Jeff makes a good point. I have been trying that YouTube TV service. I know you have too, Lamar, and it's been pretty smooth.
I gotta say, on the phone, I did not expect it to be as slick as it was, and I'm sorry to say like this caused controversy, but it almost felt like an Apple, an iOS app. Well, I mean, it was on iOS for me, but like it was developed by Apple. It was like super slick, easy to jump in, into the different shows. They had a little ways to go, but like if anybody has streaming down, it's YouTube. So.
Yeah, as far as the way it works, it's the best.
Yeah.
Its DVR function is dead simple. All the way you can flip through channels, and it's almost like a new way of channel surfing. Is great. It's channel selection. Channel selection is really the only the major downside for it.
Yeah, they don't have CNN or TNT or whatever.
Channel selection and apps, because it's only Chromecast as far as apps if you're not on a mobile device.
Yeah, I'm a PlayStation View person, but I'm definitely looking. I mean, since I'm already on YouTube, definitely looking for this to get better.
Hey, and while we're talking about YouTube, I'm curious your thoughts on that 10,000 view limit that YouTube announced yesterday about the monetization. If people missed yesterday's show, YouTube basically saying a creator can't start making money off ads. In fact, they won't run ads on their videos until their channel gets 10,000 views in total.
Which is because it's a way to filter out ads being put on garbage. And
that's what we talked about yesterday. One of the reasons is that keeps ads from showing up next to channels that are not legitimate or not valid.
So when I heard about it, immediately I was like, oh, so the partner program that was years ago that they already had in place, which is the same thing. The only difference is when you were applying for partnership, which basically meant you were eligible to get ads, no one knew the criteria. It could have been, mine was that I got in at 35,000 total views, and I had about 20 videos up, and somebody else with a viral video may get in with one video, and so I like that there is something that's there that says, you need to cross this path before you reach 10,000. I think there's nothing wrong with it. There's some people complaining that it's not fair to small creators. They're not making any money. It's like, look, you're losing. You're not going to make $10 to $40. If that's going to stop you from your dream on YouTube, then maybe that's not really your dream. I mean, if you're just looking for the money, like, it's a good barrier to say, I'm going to work my butt off to get 10,000 views, and then I could start the road to making a living of this. I think there's nothing wrong with it. Yeah. And I think it's smart for them to do. They should never have gotten rid of the program to begin with, but they wanted to make more money, so they gave everybody ads, and now look where we are.
Yeah, I feel like I agree with you on the creator's side. Like, and I did mention this yesterday. The amount of money you make on the first 10,000 views is not enough. So, granted, in a pure sense of fairness, maybe it's not great, but it does keep bad actors out. So
yeah, I mean 10,000. I mean, if they said $1 million, then that's a little ridiculous. But 10,000. It's good for you as a person to want to, and this is my opinion, just to work towards that, like to have a goal. Before there was no goal, so no one really tried hard. Now maybe people try a little harder.
And YouTube even says this went into place in December. It has nothing to do with the recent complaints about ads.
Sure.
Wink, wink. Tim Sinclair Lee wrote in and was complaining because he recently discovered a thing that has irritated me for a long time, which is if you use a VPN, which you should do when you're on public Wi-Fi or at a hotel or in an airport, you can't use a lot of services. Hulu, for the longest time, has just blocked you. If you're on a VPN that they know about, they block you. And Tim went round and round with me on Twitter. He's like, yeah, but wait a minute. I'm in the United States, and I'm a United States customer. I'm not trying to get around things. And the problem is because a VPN can't you can't show where you are. That's the point, is that it doesn't show where you are. They just assume that you're coming from outside the U.S. and trying to appear like you're in the U.S., even if you're using U.S. IP addresses with the VPN. So Tim says, is there not a way for Netflix and Amazon to be able to access your location through something other than my IP address, which isn't a geographical locator anyway, such as GPS on my device, so that I can watch what I pay for while staying safe? I'm reasonably sure that Netflix and Amazon are just being lazy about this. Maybe as more people hear about VPNs, they will change their methods. That's really what it would take. It would take enough people using VPN and practicing secure surfing that they started to hear enough complaints. Right now, when they hear complaints, they say, sure, and maybe
there's 5 people complaining about it.
But not enough people are complaining, and a lot of people who complain are really just trying to get around our rules. So we're not going to care about it. They're just not taking it seriously.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Now, Tim said, I figured out that for Amazon, I can use the hotspot on my phone to start a download for offline viewing on my iPad without the VPN, then disconnect the hotspot, turn on the VPN, reconnect to the hotel Wi-Fi, and it will complete the download. So Amazon only checks when you start the download. I haven't tried this on Netflix downloads yet, but you shouldn't have to fly through all those hoops.
So since you're knowledgeable about this, more than I am, quick question about the VPN. If most of the sites that we're using now, Facebook did it, Google, Twitter, all went to HTTPS, the secure protocol.
Yeah.
And that secures your banks. I'll have it. You go to your bank app. Why the fear of using? I mean, excuse me, not fear, but why the need to use the VPN for those situations?
Yeah, because when you're on, let's say, a hotel Wi-Fi, there could be someone conducting a man-in-the-middle attack. And yes, if you are only connecting to HTTPS connections, there's less of a chance of them being able to get in the middle of your connection. But do you want to sit there and think about that and then worry and go, well, wait, hold on. Did I actually log in? Was that an HTTPS? And there are situations where even if you're making an HTTPS connection, they could be able to sniff out your password in transit. There have been attacks like that. So the safest thing is to in fact use a VPN, because that takes any of the doubt out of the equation. It's like, no, unless there's somebody inside the VPN, that's a whole different question.
Right.
The people who are trying to snoop on hotel Wi-Fi are not going to be able to get you. Now, the chances of having something stolen when you're generally using HTTPS are low, and the chances go down that when you use a VPN. But I think that's what Netflix and Amazon are thinking, are like, you know what, most people aren't doing this anyway. And the chances of something bad happening because of us isn't enough to put pressure on us. But if you want to be the most secure, you use a VPN.
Okay, just to cover all your bases.
Yeah.
Okay.
That way you don't accidentally do something stupid, or some new vulnerability doesn't pop up in HTTPS that you fall victim to.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
At least I hope that's right.
No, you helped out a lot of people probably.
I hope so too. Well, also, you helped out a lot of people by being here and chatting about this stuff, man. It's great to have you.
Well, I'm always thankful and available to be on the show. Literally, I can be here every day. Just call me.
Yeah.
Every single day, I want to be here.
Well, we'll be over.
The Tom and Lamar show. Let's do it.
I'll bring the donuts.
What if I'm on a diet? Okay, seriously, bring them though. So I really need
low 0-calorie donut. Oh, that sounds.
Sounds gross.
Yeah, no, we don't want that. But if people want Lamar in their lives every day, you can do that, right?
Yeah, I've been, speaking of every day, I've been doing a video every day so far in April. It's this thing called on YouTube Vita, vlog every day in April, or video every day in April. So I so far so good. I've been doing that. So you check me out at youtube.com/Lamar Wilson with 2 R's. And I'm doing some cool stuff every day, showcasing some cool stuff from the Nintendo, Xbox. I even bagged a bed, or as Roger will make me say, a mattress. From Purple. So yeah, just all kind of cool lifestyle stuff.
Are you going to count your Daily Tech News Show appearance as your blog today?
No, I have to come up with some
really?
videos.
That doesn't wash.
I should have just had my camera on this whole time. That would have been the video.
Yeah, behind the scenes. That would have been fun.
Shame on me.
Oh well, wish I would have thought of it earlier.
Yeah.
Also, finishing up his draw something every today for just today is Len Peralta.
No, you talk about 0-calorie donuts. I should have drawn a 0-calorie donut, man.
Oh,
Just
man.
came in too late in the show.
That guy that you drew is almost as if he's eating a 0-calorie apple.
A little bit, yeah. You talked about switching ecosystems, and this was my take on how people were trying to switch ecosystems.
Oh, this is funny.
You got the Apple gentleman down at the bottom who's taking a bite out of the apple, and above him, in the galaxy, see, I'm trying to bring in the galaxy, is the Samsung 8 hovering above him. He's saying, I'm not ready to follow you, not yet. And that's the way I feel. I'm an iOS guy, and just thinking about moving to another ecosystem gives me much grief and a lot of stomach pain. So it's easier to stay.
Proprietary systems, man. If they were open systems, you could just swap in and out. It wouldn't matter.
Yeah, but I understand why they don't. It's too difficult.
I wish Amazon would have got it together. I would have just done Amazon everything.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
I love
I wish
Amazon.
Ubuntu would have got it together.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
you know,
That's
it's
the
sort of
difference
like
between us.
yeah, it's like the Marvel universe. There's going to be things here that not everything's going to work together.
Yeah.
So,
Well, this is cool though. I really like this.
I like this.
This is really pretty, to be
yeah,
honest.
I tried to do something pretty this week for everybody. And this is available right now in my online store. If you go to lenperaltstore.com, you can download it as a digital download, or if you choose, you can put me to work and create an actual physical print that I will sign and send out to you. It's all up to you. I give people options. You can also
He
get
doesn't
these.
lock you in.
I don't lock you in. I give you a lot of different options. You can go to my Patreon as well, patreon.com/Len. You can back me at the DTNS lover level. You can get them that way. And you can also back me there and get a DTNS avatar, a boss avatar, which is pretty cool. So it's something you may want to check out.
Check it all out, folks. Thanks to everybody who supports this show by giving a little value back. That's how we work. If you get value from the show, all we ask is that you give a little of that value back. Martin Spears, Ken Weinreich, Richard Burkett, among the many, many people supporting us at patreon.com. Would you care to join them? Patreon.com/DTNS is the place to go. There's lots of cool perks if you do. Our email address is feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com. We're live Monday through Friday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern at alphageekradio.com and diamondclub.tv. And our website is dailytechnewsshow.com. Back on Monday with Veronica Belmont. Talk to you then.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Get more at frogpants.com.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
Nice.
Love that.
All righty. Good show.
Excellente.
I'm going to take you up on that offer,
The donuts?
Lamar.
Oh,
No, not the donuts.
Wait, the bed? What did I offer you?
oh. Play back the tape.
Oh, no, the, I'm here if you need me.
Oh, that one. Yes. Okay. Yes.
So soon we forget. Top of the heap is Waymo. We had problems for Uber. I think we had something similar, Waymo problems that we've used before. Breaking up is hard to do, so hard to say I buy. Tom will bring the donuts. Ciao, Uber. Ciao. Uber.
It's so hard to
Google adds a
say
bit more privacy. I, parentheses, phone can't say goodbye. I follow Jetix. Google adds a bit more privacy. Pie, like German pie.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Tom? None of these.
I
Truth
like
and opposites.
breaking up OS hard to do.
Oh,
The
iOS.
spin.
Breaking up iOS, hard to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
It looks like you spelled ISO wrong, but sure. iOS.
No,
Okay.
small I, big. I like that one.
I'm indifferent.
Well, nice to meet you, indifferent.
That's my different face.
I
Is
have
it?
no
That's not an
opinion.
indifferent face. That means you dislike something.
No,
Indifferent,
no.
that means you're...
Dislike is like
Yeah.
Oh,
I've seen that.
I thought that was just a thing you did for the screenshots.
no.
All right, guys. I'm gonna bow out.
All right.
Got people
Bauhaus.
Bauhaus. Yes, I'm gonna Bauhaus. Oh, by the way, Tom. Next Friday, as it is Good Friday, are you running a show or no?
I do. I usually do the show on Good Friday.
Okay. I may or may not be here, depending on what. I'll let you know the day before.
Yeah. No worries.
Well, do you want us just to assume you're out, just in that way you don't feel
You
pressured?
can surprise us and tell us if you want to show up.
Yeah. Why don't we do it that way?
All right.
I will surprise you with my presence.
Good.
Excellent. All right, guys. Have a good
All right.
weekend, everybody. It's good seeing you, Lamar.
Hey, likewise, buddy. Take care.
Thanks, man.
Take care. We'll see you. Bye.
The holiday is coming up, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now that I don't
quickly.
work at schools anymore, I never know when holidays pop up.
La Semana Sacramento.
What was it?
is the Holy
Sacrament.
Week.
Oh.
Yeah, the Spanish television has been having all the stories about all the traffic as Holy Week begins.
Interesting.
I love watching Spanish television in Spain because they cover all the holidays really, really heavily. Like Mardi Gras, they had tons of stories about Mardi Gras.
Because they love having parties.
Yeah.
They do. And it's a good thing.
Unless it's to drown your sorrows and to forget.
That's why they sent Columbus over here. They just wanted to have one big party. Yeah, just go over there.
What was it, Columbus
Yeah.
Italian?
Yeah, but it was sent by the Spaniards.
I thought they sent Columbus because he was like kind of a downer at parties.
They get it. Yeah, go on
What
this
the
long trip.
world? It is round. Get the Italian out of here. My God.
Yeah, we know it's round. Here, take some of our second sons, because all they're doing on is laying about. Horses too. Take some horses.
Yeah, just get out of here.
But the world, she is around. I'm
Just
pretty
like
sure
that.
that wasn't an Italian accent, but I'm not sure,
Not
not
sure
sure.
what that was.
what country it would have been from. Portugal?
What's it the world? It's around.
Sounds like you know what you're doing is you're doing Mario.
Yeah, it's me, Columbus.
Oh God, don't do. Oh God, that's in my head now. He just arrives.
Columbus and Luigi discovering America.
Oh God.
Nintendo's Discover America mashup. Is that what you're imagining now?
Yeah, exactly. And there needs to be a video now.
So what are you playing on your Switch these days?
So I took a break from Zelda because I finished it, but my friend group has been relentless in like finishing like all the shrines and things. So now I have to like go back and yeah, they've threatened, challenged me. So I had to go back and do that. But yeah, I played a new Snake game. That's out. Yeah. Where remember that? Okay, what's the good? Remember that video game with where you were like the octopus, but you were pretending to be a man?
Oh wow, that does ring a bell. What was that?
Octodad.
Octodad.
Yeah. So it's the mechanics are a little kind of similar. You're literally a snake. You have to like move the controls as if you're a snake and go over hurdles. I just started it, but it's actually really colorful and fun.
Okay.
I've been playing the RMX game. It's a racing game. And that's all. Really good. Yeah, and that's all they have. No,
and that's it. You played all the games.
Yeah. No, it's funny since I've been moving and doing things the last couple weeks. I have played very little video games.
Yeah.
Like I'm desperate to get to Mass Effect, and I just haven't had a chance yet.
Poor Link is probably starving because ever since we adopted the new dog, I've been pouring all my extra time into that. So.
Now, tell me what I'm late to the game for this new dog. How old is he or she?
She is between 1 and 2 years, although I'm pretty sure she's closer to a year.
Older.
Okay. Now how was your current dog taken to it? Because I know he's very active.
He was really excited at first because he liked to have a playmate, and she's young enough that she's got energy and everything. Mm-hmm. So the first week was great. They were angels. Then suddenly she got comfortable enough to be like, no, you can't do that. And he's really pushy. Our old dog Django just kind of gave up and just let him do whatever and didn't bother her. But now she's kind of pushing back like, what? No, I'm not going to let you take a toy out of my mouth. forget that. So there's a little bit of getting used to each other going on.
So the honeymoon is over.
Yeah. It's not like they're fighting. They're not like getting into fights, but there have been a couple of little standoffs and barks at each other like, hey, no, you can't do that.
Yeah, it's
and of course
Sawyer
starts moping like, oh, I didn't get my way. And then goes off and lays down and sighs.
Yeah.
So,
he's spoiled.
Yeah. I think it's probably good for him.
Yeah. So, all right. You got the other dog just to really compliment Sawyer, or was it more for him or more?
We
for
actually, we like having 2 dogs.
Nice.
And we actually described Sawyer when we went to the West Side German Shepherd Rescue and said, this is the kind of dog we have. And they recommended Libby was her name in the shelter. We're calling her Ray.
Well, they have a specific German Shepherd shelter.
Yeah, there's a place down on South Hill Street, South LA, that does specifically German Shepherd and German Shepherd mix rescue.
Oh, okay, that's cool. I didn't know that must be a big enough rescue.
Yeah, for popular breeds, a lot of times there will be places that specialize like that. Like there's a lab rescue. There's a whatchamacallit, the little pugs. There's a pug rescue. It's like people who just really know a breed really well decide.
Yeah. My friends are saying you need a pet in this place. I was like, yeah, so it's either going to be 2 cats or a dog that doesn't bark a lot, and I don't know what breed does not bark a lot because I don't want to bark her when I leave. That's just
I know well, the barking when you leave is all about separation anxiety, and our dogs don't bark when we leave. They bark when people come over though, and that's a problem. And some of that is just learned. Some of it is just our failure as parents not to train them not to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are breeds that bark more than others.
Yeah. So, for those listening, let me know on Twitter if you have any ideas at Lamar Wilson.
Ray doesn't really bark hardly at all. Even when Sawyer does, she doesn't really join in. So she's just not a barky kind of dog.
Yeah. Yeah. And from what I heard, cats don't bark. So I might just.
No, if you get a barking cat, you should put that on your videos.
Yeah. I'm going to be rich.
It's very closely related to a tree cat.
Yeah.
I'm going to be rich.
Barking up a tree. Huh? That sounded like a goat.
Have you seen those goat videos on YouTube where they just scream?
Oh, that's like
so old. That's
I know, but that's what I'm saying.
I thought you just saw one.
No, all right.
He was assuming that we're not with it.
Be referenced to YouTube that's older than a year. Oh my God, that's like the Middle Ages.
No, it's the way you said it. You didn't say like, oh, it's like those goat videos on YouTube. You said, have you seen? That made it sound like, hey, there's this new thing.
Have you read about the Middle Ages? Have you read about the Spanish Inquisition? Heaven forbid, Tom. Heaven forbid.
Have you seen that Mahir guy?
Have you heard about the Enlightenment period?
Have you heard about the scientific method?
Hey, remember that time when you woke up? and you got out of bed?
Have you ever done this? That? Open your eyes and got out of bed.
Have you ever here's one. Have you ever woken up and don't ever remember falling to sleep? Like ever you don't remember you're just in bed
that's every night. I never remember falling asleep. Ever.
Huh. I remember nobody really remembers falling asleep.
No, that's a good thing. That means I passed out. I was tired. That's
passing out.
I want to pass out.
When I go to bed and I mean to go to sleep, I usually go to sleep. I don't remember the point I fell asleep.
No, not that. But I mean, you don't even remember getting in bed.
Oh, no, that's not what you said.
Okay, yeah, that's different.
Yeah.
My God.
I mean, outside of alcohol-related incidents, I've never had that happen.
Yeah.
There's times where it's like, I don't ever remember coming into bed.
Yeah,
I've had it where I've been sitting watching television or something and then wake up and we're like, oh my gosh, I fell asleep. Like I didn't mean to fall asleep.
Yeah.
But I've never actually gone into bed, woken up in bed and been like, I don't know. How did I get here? Yeah.
Nope, that's never happened. Because I don't drink really, and I never want to drink to that point. So
you want to you believe in a homeopathic passing out?
Yeah. I even take natural stuff when I have to.
I take natural sleep aids until I just pass out, man. I took so many natural sleep aids last night.
I used to watch the Late Late Show with what's his name before it got interesting. Who's that guy? Back in '98, it was
Conan O'Brien.
No, Tom something. It was like the most boring show.
Oh, you mean before Letterman?
No, it was I came after Letterman. It was like Super Night.
Oh, it was a late show.
The late show. It was came on. It was before what's his name from that
Alan
Scottish.
Thicke?
Alan Thicke. Did you say? That'll be very boring.
He had a talk show. It lasted a week.
Tom Snyder?
Yeah, Tom Snyder.
Oh, thank you, Knots and Beef
Thanks,
also.
Knots. Thanks for paying attention and not. No, that thing used to put me to. I would purposely leave it on because he had that AM radio voice that just like when you're driving late at night, it just makes you fall asleep.
Now we're going
Very
to talk
dangerous.
to. Yeah.
I find late night radio to be the most dangerous to listen to when you drive because it lulls you into a sense of like. It's like no.
So I went and bought because normally in my last place, I will fall asleep. I didn't have a TV in the bedroom, so sometimes I would fall asleep on the couch just watching, people on stream like playing video games on Twitch. But now with that TV in the bedroom, it doesn't have Twitch as an app, even on the Apple TV or on the Samsung. So I went and bought a Chromecast Ultra yesterday. First of all, $69.
Yeah, for the Ultra. Yeah.
I paid it, but I was like, "Good Lord!" I thought it would be cheaper than that.
Because you need to see your Twitch in 4K, man.
I don't. No one's streaming in 4K, so it's like I bought this $60 thing just for Twitch, but I fell asleep very nicely last night, leaving a streamer on.
Ah, nice.
So it worked.
Yeah. Do you ever wake up and the Twitch streamer has fallen asleep?
No. I've actually never. Yeah, I watched the people on Marathon. I've never had anybody fall asleep yet.
I've seen people. I mean, Willie Dills Gregory, who's in our greater podcast family, has famously fallen asleep on his stream.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not like you can't. I'm saying legal. It's against the rules to go to sleep purposely.
Yeah. Right.
To have a sleep stream, but yeah, I've never seen anybody fall asleep. That'd be funny.
All right. Well, we are published, and the podcast is wending its way into people's inboxes now. So thanks, everybody, for watching or listening, or if there was some other way you enjoyed the show that doesn't involve either one of those.
Morse code.
Yeah.
Semaphore. So don't go away, Lamar. I need to talk to you real quick.
Understood.
Don't go away, Lamar.